We all know that people are living longer than ever with the advances in medicine and quality of living. But it means we're seeing more diseases symptomatic of old age, including dementia. Alzheimer's Australia released new research today that shows how serious the challenges are facing governments, patients and carers as baby boomers move into old age. We can expect to see a 50% increase in people diagnosed with dementia in the next decade, as Mike Sexton reports.
We're fighting dementia! 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 We're fighting dementia!
Although they didn't achieve the number, organisers of a rally today in Canberra hoped for 1,500 people. That way they could show the number of people each week in Australia who are diagnosed with dementia.
If I have to raise my voice until I am hoarse, then so be it.
The rally was staged by Alzheimer's Australia to demand greater awareness of and funding for a condition it says will be the third largest cost to health and residential care by 2030.
The role of government is to help us find the money, and we're very conscious of the fact that there's a lot of demands on government for money. But unless we address this issue, the cost down the track will be horrendous.
It's too early to talk about precise figures, but I said at this rally, I've said it many times before, that the challenge of dementia has to be central to the aged care plans that we're putting in place now for the next 5, 10 and 20 years.
Increased dementia is another sign of Australia's ageing population, but it's a mistake to think it's only an older person's disease.
Kate, stop.
Among those at the rally was former nurse Kate SWAFFER, who's one of 16,000 Australians with early onset dementia.
Dementia is an illness with much stigma, and my life has changed in ways that are challenging to understand and difficult to live with.
Kate SWAFFER was busy with her career and family when in her late 40s she began suffering severe headaches that developed into what seemed like a form of dyslexia, where her brain struggled to process information and words.
I can't do maths anymore, so I did maths 1 and maths 2 at school. I can't even do percentage with a calculator anymore. So managing things like money and bookwork, and it's just not a happening thing anymore.
Kate SWAFFER's early onset of dementia is slowly taking away her memory, so she's documenting her condition and her feelings in both a blog and a video. She's prepared medical directions on how she should be treated if, for example, she loses the power to communicate or to swallow.
I guess the more personal things like letters to family and, for example, gifts for my children's first baby in case I'm not around if they get married and have children. So it's little things like that you worry about.
Kate SWAFFER suffers from a condition which falls under the general term dementia. The most commonly known is Alzheimer's disease, which is incurable.
All that we can do at best is to give people what doctors and nurses and other health professionals have always given people, which is education, advice, counsel, support, pointers. That information in and of itself is of enormous value to people.
Practically every one of these people that we're talking about, these 115 million people who will have dementia by 2050, are alive today.
Canadian specialist John BREITNER says at the moment dementia can only be diagnosed once symptoms begin appearing. But he believes future treatments could come through brain imaging that shows the biological changes that take place as the disease progresses. These so-called biomarkers could be identified in the brains of those who are at the early stages of the condition and strategies developed to treat the emerging symptoms.
I think somewhere between 5 and 10 years we will have interventions that will still be in the testing and proving stages, but with high degrees of promise. And sometime after that, we'll have, we hope, interventions that are ready for prime time.
Kate, would you like a tea or a coffee? Tea would be great. Thanks, Jodie.
That's all a long way off for Kate SWAFFER, who's adjusting to her life changes with the help of a carer a few hours per week. She's concerned that while people over 65 come under aged care, those with early onset don't qualify for the same help.
we're not so easy to just dump into the dementia units because we don't want to go there, and there's no funding for us to go there either.
We're also having a very deep discussion with the sector and with families impacted by this condition about the best way to support them. Is it essentially using the same expertise we get out of the aged care sector, or is it something better dealt with in the disabilities framework? So that's a discussion that's continuing.
For today, there was much support among patients and carers, and the knowledge that dementia is an issue that's not going away.
Mike Sexton with that report.